I watched boys I grew up with, boys I played baseball with in dusty fields, put on uniforms and climb onto trains, and then disappear down the tracks. Some of them never came home. I am 94 years old, and the news today does not scare me, not one little bit, because I know what fear actually feels like. Real fear, the kind that sits in your stomach like a stone and follows you to bed at night. I watched my mother stretch a single ration of butter across an entire month just to keep us from going hungry. I lived through the Great Depression, and I lived through the war. Back then, we didn't have 24-hour news channels telling us the world was ending. We just had the world. And sometimes it really did feel like the end. But here's the funny thing. The sky fell more than once in my lifetime. And every single time, people picked up the pieces and built something again. That's why when I see that glowing screen today, the one shouting breaking news in red letters every 10 minutes, I just shake my head. Because I've seen real breaking news. And most of what you're being sold today is just fear with better lighting. Let me tell you about a man I once knew. His name was Frank. Frank survived the war, just like I did. Big laugh, big heart, strong as an ox. The kind of man who built things with his hands. After the war, Frank built a porch onto his house using nothing but scrap lumber and stubbornness. Every evening, he'd sit out there with a glass of iced tea, just watching the sun sink behind the trees. He once told me those sunsets reminded him that the world was still good. And for a long time, they did. But sometime in the late 1990s, Frank got cable news, 24 hours a day. At first, it was just background noise, but slowly, something changed. Frank stopped sitting on the porch. He stopped working in his woodshop. Instead, he sat in his recliner, bathed in the blue glow of that television, convinced the world was about to collapse tomorrow morning. Every time I visited him, the conversation was the same. The economy was about to crash. Cities were burning. Disasters were coming. Frank was 84 years old, living in a quiet little house on a peaceful street, and he was miserable. He spent the final years of his life preparing for disasters that never came, while beautiful, quiet days passed right outside his window. That porch he built with his own hands, the wood started to rot because nobody sat on it anymore. Frank didn't die of old age. Frank died of a spirit that had been slowly choked by fear. And I think about that porch all the time. Now I want to tell you something honest. That scream in your pocket, those flashing headlines, they are not there to calm you. They are there to keep you watching, because a calm person turns the television off, but a scared person keeps watching, hour after hour, day after day. And while you're staring at that screen, the hours of your life are quietly being sold to advertisers. Most people don't even realize the transaction is happening. One day, every single one of us will die. That's not a sad thought. It's just the truth. And because it's the truth, I want you to try something. I call it the last time. One day you will drink a cup of coffee for the last time. One day you will hug someone you love for the last time. One day you will step outside and feel the sun on your face for the last time. You won't know when that moment comes, But when you remember that, something changes. You taste the coffee a little more. You hold the hug a little longer. You notice the wind moving through the trees. And suddenly those flashing red news banners feel very, very small. People tell me all the time, I'll be happy when things calm down, when the economy improves, when the world gets back to normal. But let me tell you something from someone who has watched nearly a century pass. The world never calms down. When one problem ends, another begins. And if you wait for peace before you allow yourself to live, you will die waiting, just like Frank. I sit here now near the end of my life. My knees ache. My back hurts. My eyesight isn't what it used to be. But I'll tell you something I see very clearly. When I look back, I don't remember news broadcasts. I remember Sunday mornings with my wife, the way she hummed while she made pancakes, the smell of coffee in our quiet kitchen, my children laughing through the screen door on warm summer evenings. That was the real wealth, and it was happening on ordinary days. Days that could have slipped past me if I had spent them staring at a screen. You are holding the golden ticket. You have your youth. You have your health. You have time. Time that I would give anything to hold again for just one afternoon. So go outside. Feel the wind. Call your mother. Forgive someone you've been carrying anger toward. Build something with your hands and sit on the porch before the wood starts to rot. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's time for my walk. And at my age, every walk is a gift.